All right, so we're going to start Unit 7, which is going to deal with plant growth and development. We'll also review photosynthesis, cellular respiration during this unit as well. So some of it will be new, some of it will be review from any of biology class that you may have had in the past. And then we'll start quickly moving towards the end of new units here before we get into hopefully major hands-on outside activities. So growth is a characteristic of living things in which an irreversible permanent increase in size of an organ or its parts occur, or an increase in the size of a cell. So one of the characteristics of life is that all living things grow and change, or grow and develop, and that's what we're going to be focusing on here and with plants is how this happens. Types of growth in plants, we've touched on these before, but again, it's important. Primary growth and secondary growth. So primary growth is a result of rapidly dividing cells into apical meristems at the shoot tip or the root tip. All right, so this is the topmost part of the plant or the bottommost part of the plant. Okay, this is the growth that's going to make our plant, another way to think of it, longer, okay, up and down. Secondary growth is the growth that results from cell divisions in the cambium, should be cambium, or the lateral meristems that causes the stems and roots to thicken. So secondary growth is going to be laterally. Okay, primary is up and down, secondary side to side. Types of growth rates. So growth rate can be defined as the increase of growth per unit time. So plants show two types of growth. You have arithmetic growth and geometric growth. So rhythmic growth is only one daughter cell continues to divide while the others differentiate or mature. Remember cell differentiation? We talked about that in biology. Differentiation are cells taking on specific roles within an organism. They're maturing to become whatever it is they're supposed to be. And the new cells, of course, will be blank stem cells there for a minute before differentiation occurs. Geometric growth is the initial growth is slow. Okay, so it's called a lag phase. And this is going to be followed by a rapid increase in growth, which is the exponential phase. And then it'll be followed by a phase where where the growth slows down, which is a stationary phase. So an example is all cells, tissues, and organs show this type of growth. So with geometric growth, kind of think about a graph. So kind of a slow growth, and then we reach that exponential phase where we jump up quickly, and then we station off. Okay, we level off with the growth. So conditions of growth, certain conditions must be met in the right amounts for plants to grow, and of course you know this by now. Different plants require these different things in different concentrations. So we have to look at water level, water concentration, how much water is there, lack thereof, oxygen, nutrients, both macro and micronutrients. We've talked about those, and you will have to look those up again. And temperature. Okay, some plants are cold weather plants, meaning the cold kind of stimulates their growth. Others, the cold kills them. Right, and you understand this. You probably never really thought about tracking it. Differentiation, de-differentiation, and redifferentiation. So differentiation is nothing new to you. It's a big topic in any biology class, and this is the process for cells derived from root apical meristems and cambium differentiate and mature to perform specific functions. If they're going to become a stomata, then they become a stomata. If they're going to become chlorophyll, they become chlorophyll, so on and so forth. Differentiation. This is a process in which living differentiated cells regain their capacity to divide. So they kind of become undifferentiated. Okay. Redifferentiation. This is a process in which differentiated cells that have lost their ability to divide are reformed from their de-differentiated cells and have the ability to perform specific functions. So you may have a differentiated cell, and then it becomes de-differentiated, where it's going to divide, and then that same cell will then redifferentiate. Okay, kind of how that could work. So development is changes in a life cycle. So plasticity is the different kinds of structures that are developed in response to the environment or phases of life. So there's an example there, heterophyly. You can also do the phototrophism, where plants grow towards light or away from light based off where the light concentration comes from, maybe where water sources is in a dry environment. So anything that is going to cause structure to develop based off a certain outside factor. Um, so development can also be termed as growth and differentiation. Development is controlled by intrinsic factors as well as extrinsic factors. So with intrinsic in 7.2, we're going to talk about growth hormones, different types of plant growth regulators. And then the extrinsic factors, of course, light, temperature, water, oxygen, maybe some other type of threat, maybe some other type of plant, which is limiting certain types of nutrient intake, which could cause plants to grow in different ways. And that is going to be where we stop for 7.1. Be sure you complete the form that goes with this video. And if you need anything, let me know.